Hello, it's Mrs. Harrison here with my cat who doesn't want to be on my knee. Bob. Bob. Here's Bob, my cat. Say hello, Bob. I'm going to let him go now. That didn't work like it does in some, other television shows. But I wanted you to see Bob the cat because the story I'm reading you today is called My Name is Bob. And our cat, Bob, was named after the Bob in this story. It's a very famous story. If you don't already know it, you're in for a treat. There has been a film made of it. And the reason it's so famous is because it is based on a true story. And I'll show you some photographs at the end of the real life Bob. Okay, so my name is Bob and I'm a street cat. Shall I tell you my story? Then come with me. I wasn't always a street cat. I grew up in a quiet house with a kind old lady. She looked after me. She loved me and I loved her. I would curl up in her cosiest chair and listen to the beautiful music she played. I thought I was the luckiest little cat in the world. Then one day, the old lady wasn't well. I wanted to make her better, so I sat on her lap watching over her from morning till night. But there was nothing I could do to help her. It's very sad. One day, some men in an ambulance came. I hoped they would make her better, so I chased down the road after them. I ran and ran, and I tried to keep up. I jumped onto a bus thinking it would follow her, but instead it took me on a long journey into a big city. After a time, the driver made me jump off the bus. The streets were busy and noisy. Everybody was rushing around so fast. I wish I could go back home, I said to myself, but I didn't have a home anymore. I tried to get some food from a dustbin, but some street cats snarled at me. "Get lost!" one of them spat. I felt frightened and ran away. I ran and ran through the crowded streets, not knowing where I was. That night, I slid inside a cardboard box in the doorway of a shop. It was warm and cosy, and it made me think of home. I miss curling up in my chair. How I miss my home, I thought. The next morning, a big man woke me up. "Scram!" he shouted, shaking me out of my box, and I ran away. Days passed. Everywhere I went, people chased me off. Weeks passed. I crept away and hid. And then, one morning, I heard a friendly voice. "Hello, pussycat. Do you want to come home with me?" "Yes, please," I purred. I was so happy that somebody wanted me. But his mother wouldn't let me in. "I'm not having that smelly cat in my house," she said, and she slammed the door closed. I stared at my reflection in a puddle. The face in the water didn't look like me. I was so scruffy and dirty, as though I hadn't washed for a year. I was cold and hungry and too tired even to lick myself clean. Will I ever find a home again? I thought. Day after day, I walked and walked. Nobody wanted to feed me. Nobody wanted to take me in. Nobody wanted to be my friend. Winter came, but my life hadn't changed. I was alone, hungry and cold on the streets. You can see him down there. Poor little Bob. Everyone else is doing their Christmas shopping, all happy. But then, when spring came, my luck changed. I heard music, beautiful music. I followed the sound and saw a man playing his guitar. I could tell he was sad and lonely like me. He looked like he needed a friend. So I followed him home and I waited outside for him. That night, I saw a pair of eyes glowing in the dark. I was cornered. The creature bit me as I tried to escape. The next morning, my leg hurt so much that I hobbled inside the building and sat by the stairs. Perhaps the man will see me here, I thought. Perhaps he will help me. Then I heard, "Hello, little fella. You look hungry," the man said. "Do you want to come up for some milk and tuna?" The man was kind. He stroked me gently and put medicine on my leg. "Don't worry, you're safe with me," he said. I felt I could trust him. He seemed like a friend. He told me his name was James. "And I'm going to call you Bob," he said. When my leg was better, James and I went out to play music. On the streets, people smiled and gathered to watch us. James and his street cat named Bob. I sat at his feet while he strummed his guitar. I thought I was the luckiest little cat in the world, just like before. And from that day on, we've been together, and we always will be. And that's the end of the story, but if you have a look, I've put some pictures up here of the real James and the real Bob. And you can see on the next page, there he is with his cloak on. And there he is. I think what he tended to do, Bob, well, what happened in the film of this story anyway, is that Bob would rest on James's shoulders as he went out into the streets to do some busking. And there's all sorts of pictures in the back of this book of the real Bob. There is also the story. There's some more photos at the back of what really happened in March 2017 when James Bowen, a busker, found an injured ginger tomcat. Now, our cat is called Bob. He's over on the settee again now, just licking himself. He just sleeps a lot. But every time I read this story or remember it, it does make me think of our cat Bob. I hope you enjoyed that story. I do like it when they're real life stories, and I hope you're all having a good day today. Look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow with another story. Thank you. And here is a video of our Bob, Bob Harrison. He didn't want to sit on me because he's not used to sitting down by the television, which is why he jumped off. But he is a very friendly cat, as you can see. And his name is Bob Harrison.